All right. Hey there, everybody. Chris Franks checking in with you on a very cold, for South Texas day here. Woke up to 16 degrees here just north of Houston, Texas on Lake Conroe, right? Can we blame it on the lake effect wind maybe or something? I don't know. Anyway, kind of cold this morning. Good to have you all checking in. Just, what is it, 2 days here before Christmas? Just a few minutes after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Friday the 23rd of December, 2022. I do apologize. We're having a bit of a technical difficulty there. The third-party software that I used to stream with was not connecting for some reason, so I had to go through the whole reboot of the system and everything. And here we are, though. We're here, right? How are y'all doing, man? Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Man, what do we got here? Well, for those of you that don't know... So I bought this property here a few months back, and this is the first time we're actually using the heater. And I've got an office here it's a pretty big office, probably about probably about 600 square feet, maybe a little bit bigger than that. And I had to get a mini split system installed on it, because we have it, the air conditioner worked fine and everything, the fan works fine, but just now tried to use the heater the other day. And found out that the board is bad. As far as that goes, heat would not work. So I'm sitting here kind of bundled up a bit. I've got some very small units. Couldn't find anything around this area until next week when they can get them fixed. But, the boards for these units are still having trouble staying in stock. We had the big chip issue over the last couple of years, really. So, basically everything runs on chips. And because of COVID and everything shutting down, it became a big supply chain issue with all that. And so I'm here to tell you today that we're still seeing that. So yeah, crazy times, right? Who's here already? Deadly123. Happy holidays, man. Great to see you. Merry Christmas. Fibbo Swanee, what's going on, buddy? Nevlusian's here. Tell you rider. Brady Croft, what's up, man? Astro Crypto is here. Good to see you checking in. Dominic, hello there. Let me see here. Brady says it's minus 35 in Ohio. Yes, I get that. But y'all used to that, right? I mean, maybe it doesn't happen every year, but y'all used to it, right? I am like an hour and a half from the Gulf of Mexico. Hour and 15 minutes, whatever. I'm right there, guys. We are not, this is not normal weather here, okay? So crazy times. Fibbo Swanee's a bit cold. I know he's up there in, I believe in Kentucky, right? Dana, what's going on there? Arrow Quinn, good to see you, buddy. Bianca says +7 in Amsterdam. Is that Celsius? I know as far as Celsius goes, 14 here is something like, I don't know, what is it? 14 minus 32 divided by 0.55556 or something like that. It's like a negative... I don't even know. -8 or something Celsius, I think, something like that. Bamboo, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you here. Zogs is here as well. I'm working on feeling better, man. Yeah, healing up a bit. Unfortunately, our members, our Tier 3 members, I guess even our regular members have seen me end up coughing, doing a live stream or something with them, and just can't do anything for a minute or whatever. It just... having a cracked rib, man, and you do that kind of pressure just sucks. So, yeah. Bianca's saying yes, that's Celsius there. Yeah. Tellurider says, I usually stand outside barefoot in the snow to wake up while the dog has his first pee. A little cold even for me to do that now. Y'all crazy, man. I love you guys, though, okay? You don't see my breath, so it's not cold yet. So what I did was, so there is like no... space heaters anywhere in my immediate area. Had to go out about 25 minutes away into the woodlands just to find these tiny little things, man. They're like this big. I got 2 of them sitting down on the floor here. So that's kind of keeping me a little bit warm, and I've got a heating pad on my lap. So it's just kind of crazy. Right? The rest of the house feels great. This big old office here is nothing but cold. Frank, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Brian, good to see you. Doing my part to test aircon. Oh, man, don't even get us. No, it's Texas, man. We got PTSD from from ERCOT a couple years ago. So we had that big ice and snowstorm all over Texas. Anyway, guys, hey, listen, so, great chat with y'all, but let's get to talking about some work here, right? So, listen, you can join us here at howtotradetowin.com. We've got some holiday specials going on right now. One of them I've been talking about is our mentor program that's a year long. If you can't swing the whole price, I've got my own financing that I'm willing to do for you. That's personal. That's me. But also, I told you I've been trying to get a financing partner set up with us. Got one set up. So traditional financing, guys. So if you even if you could afford to go through me like that, if you'd like to go through the other without a down payment and whatnot, unfortunately, it only works for U.S. citizens right now. I'm working on trying to find somebody that'll finance for outside the U.S. But right now, if you are outside the U.S., I can still finance you myself. But there's going to be a down payment, everything, all the information. Just come on over here to howtotradetowin.com/holiday sale, right? Let me go do that here. Tradetowin.com/holiday-sale. That'll take you to this page here. Enter your email, and that way I'm about to send an email out to everybody that's already kind of looked through here and might have pulled back because they didn't or couldn't afford to pay it as we had it, and let them know that there is another option now in case they are interested. But that's what the email there is for you, so that way we can get a hold of you if anything changes and whatnot. Right now, 55% off the normal price. I'll be honest with you guys. In reality, we don't normally buy things that help us. We don't normally not buy them because of the price. We don't buy them because we don't believe in ourselves being able to make it happen. So, I've been doing this, publicly with you guys. We've had our company here for going on 5.5 years now. There's a whole bunch of testimonials on the next page there from people that have been through us in different aspects and whatever. Because, again, to me, I can sit here and tell you all day that what we do is great and it's not a scam, and you can do it too if you listen, if you apply the things we say as you need to apply them, right? But you have to do that. I can give you the golden goose, so to speak, but unless you are really, ready, willing, and able to listen and to do as you need to, it doesn't matter. It doesn't give you all the best stuff in the world, and if you don't apply it as you need to, do it. But that's what we're doing with the mentor program. It's a lot of psychological and emotional working through all that. As well as my personal trading system and a whole bunch of other stuff. You guys can read about there. If you're interested, do it. The other thing we're doing, guys, if you come to howtotradetowin.com and go to the join us and go to tier 3, we got a couple of things here. If you're not currently a member, you can get your first month for $75. Normally it's $200 a month. But recently, I've been talking to a lot of people who wanted to kind of stick with us, and they were having just some money issues because of all the nonsense with 3AC, Voyager, all this other crap, right? FTX, man. Every time I see that guy's face, it always looks like he's grinning, like evil grin. Sam Bankman-Fried. But anyway, so what I did is something I never thought I'd do. We have 2 current tier 3 specials going on right now. You can get 6 months for $499, or you can get 12 months for $599. That's like $50 a month, guys. Absolutely insane. So you can jump on and do that, but it's only going to be for this limited time right now. So you'll have to jump in there and get it if you want to do it. And by the way, not only is that for the first year, but as long as you keep that auto renew on, the software will continue to give you that same discount year after year, no matter how much we raise the price. And we will be raising the price of tier 3 next year. Because, I believe the markets are going to rally back up. But you know what? Here's a great thing. Whether they do or don't, the stuff you learn with us is going to have you making money either direction. And I think that's the one thing a lot of new traders don't understand. A lot of people come into trading and they say, listen, I want to be a trader. And then all they're looking for is to buy the absolute lowest price and sell the absolute highest price. So they say they want to be a trader, but they don't really. What they want to do is buy that low price and then not have to worry about it and brag to their friends years later that they bought it at the low. The funny thing is, people like myself and others, we're going to make a lot more money during that time because we're not just buying and holding through all the ups and downs. We're locking in profit consistently, and we're letting time and compounding do its part to get us well above that. So just some things to think about there. But anyway, we'd love to have you there, guys. I think we're an absolutely great group of people. I love the members, man. So many of our members have been with us for years and years and years, and I think that's a testament to what we do in and of itself, guys. So there's the hard sell. Not really a hard sell, right? If you want to do it, it's there for you. If you've got questions, send me a DM. Especially, just log into our server. You can get it. You know what? I'll even give it right here for you guys. You can log into our Discord server here. And feel free, man. Feel free to send me a DM with any questions you got. I'll answer it. If you need to do a Zoom meeting, let me know. I'll set one up with you guys. You know, if you want to kind of touch and, you know, feel me, right? Don't be careful what you're touching. But anyway, you know, it is what it is, guys. You know, the people that are with us, I think, are probably the best way to kind of sit there and go, man, is this a scam or not? So anyway, there you go. Oh, man. All that excitement there kind of got me a bit excited. And, ooh, man, hurts the chest a bit. Andrew Bennett, Merry Christmas, man. Good to see you. If it was one, he says, I want a golden goose. Oh, man, love it, right? Telluride saying, unbelievable that SBF is out on high leverage bail while coders who stole nothing sit in jail. Yeah, so, I mean, you know, here's that whole thing, right? So I think I talked about it previously, which was the likelihood that Caroline and Gary and whatnot would flip and you know, on SBF and just kind of throw him under the bus. Say, oh, well, we didn't know. It was all him. He made us do it, right? I saw some talk somewhere that, what's his name? The previous CEO, can never say his name correctly, A.L. or whatever his name is. The one who bought the yacht and transferred his CEO ship to Caroline a few months back. Anyway, supposedly, you know, the FBI and whatnot are out looking for him. And that makes all the sense in the world. I mean, Caroline was only their CEO, you know, from what, August? This stuff been going on for years. He was CEO at that time. God, one of y'all. Ah, that is Trabuco. Yeah. Or Trabuco or whatever his name is. Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, it would make no sense at all to go after everybody else here and not him as well. You know, and he's not going to get in there with the, oh, I didn't know what was going on. He was a CEO for quite a while there at Alameda. So, you know, you can expect that he'll probably flip on him as well. Now, the question becomes is, you know, at this point, SBF either has no friends or he has friends in very high places. There is no in between at this point, right? And so, you know, a lot's been made of this $250 million bail and whatnot. You know, again, the way bails work, you pay 10%. Bail's bondsman, you know, puts up the rest, right? To get out on there, and then you lose your bail and whatnot if it goes on, you know, and if you try and run off and all that. And, you know, so there's a lot of going on in this system. And you know what? We know what probably happened, right? I mean, we're pretty sure about what probably happened. But here's the thing. It hasn't been proven in court. So should be considered innocent until proven guilty. I know we don't want to hear that, especially here in the U.S. We're a very vengeful people, right? We're very much forget rehabilitation. We want revenge, right? So it's a tough thing, but you know we'll see how all this plays out. It's gonna definitely be interesting to say the least, I think. So Sam anyway has a little bit more time to play some League of Legends before he's got to really worry about not having internet access anymore. That's just crazy. The whole thing's just such a crazy situation, right? But make no mind. I mean, you know, understand, guys, this isn't an issue with crypto. This is just an issue with a bad actor. This is somebody who, had he been in TradFi, would probably have found a different way to take that money from you, right? Now, the only thing really interesting about his bail, and I mean, this is like one of the largest in history, right, is that like Madoff was a $10 million bail. Now, of course, that was years ago, but still, you know, Madoff and his large scheme was, you know, just 10 million. So, you know, the court really kind of trying to say something with this, but at the same time, I saw one of the conditions of his bail was that he can buy stuff online, but he can't make purchases over like $1,100 or something. I think is what it was. And now they're fighting over his FTX, or not his FTX, but his Robinhood stock. Remember he had all that stock? What was it, $400 or $500 million worth of stock? So FTX is trying to get it. He's trying to keep it. Bankruptcy courts and everything trying to get it to pay back creditors and all that. So a lot of moving parts in this, guys. We're going to see a lot coming in. So, and probably a lot of this should go, oh my God, yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. I expected that's what was going on. Right? Fibbo Swanee says he's a pawn being used for U.S. regulations. Maybe just throwing out BS theories. Yeah, I don't know that I really kind of jump into that stuff, guys. At the end of the day, the securities, SEC, the CFTC, these government agencies, they don't need something like that to happen. Government doesn't need that to happen. They can jump in and regulate it anyway, and they will. They've shown they will regulate things just to do it, right? Without all this kind of hubbub stuff. So I know we all like a good conspiracy theory and whatnot, but I don't know. I don't think that necessarily, FBI plant or CIA plant or something like that. But, crazier things have happened. We'll find out. I'm not open. I'm not closed to the possibility that's what could go on. But I definitely don't consider that to be my lead theory on that. Eric Quinn says the friends that SBF has will be dependent on the dirt that he holds on those people. Yeah, I mean, that's the way it kind of goes. But guys, this is what happens at these high levels of income, right? These high levels of, when you're hobnobbing with the most powerful people in the world, when you've got, supposedly, when you're worth $30 billion, you make friends. Because there are very few people at that level that aren't playing the system, that aren't doing the things they shouldn't be doing. There's no way, guys. And so it becomes this club, right? But they don't normally get into trouble because of their connections and who they are and who they know and whatnot. How did Epstein go for so many years doing his little, God, it's so disgusting, but his thing, right? It happens, when you're rolling around in those groups. So very possible. And, he's got a background with his parents and who they know, and his mom being, the biggest, he's got that large, and this is not a political statement here. I'm just saying she has the largest Democrat, group there for money, raising money. So yeah, and I mean, again, it's not a here's a political statement about Democrats or Republicans. It's just that's the facts that she does. So she mingles with those higher people, right, as well. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here, guys. We'll see how this all plays out. You thought his parents posted their $4 million home as collateral? Yeah. That's what I understood too. It's something like a 5-bedroom, 3,100 square feet house over there by Stanford. Yeah. What do we think about SBF's origin story now? The arb trade story, a bunch of BS. Yeah, I think there's a lot of BS in it. I think. So here's the part where where I say I don't necessarily believe in the whole FBI plant thing. But I do think there was something going on there between who his parents know and his connections and coming out of MIT and running into Jane Street for 9 months or whatever there, and then popping off, doing his own thing. I mean, yeah, I think there's possibility that he had, it's kind of like people when they run for government, right? They've got a campaign manager that kind of sets things in motion and gets things going and gets. I think same potential thing here with potentially with people high up and do whatever that saw an opportunity, not necessarily to fleece everybody, but to get him up into the position he was in. So yeah, we'll see. Again, I'm not here to say conspiracy theories and whatnot, but that is, especially here in the U.S., the way things work quite often when you get that big that fast. So yeah, we'll see, right? But anyway, okay, guys. So let me jump in here. Budman, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you as always. Kimazabi, good to see you. Yeah, touchy-feely. Don't get too touchy-feely with me. Permission to touch the beard. Y'all have been following me for a while. I used to have a pretty crazy a beard back in the day. Pretty long, so yeah. Brian says buying a heater in the Woodlands is long money. It is, man. It is. I could not do it though. I was sitting here shivering this morning. Let me see here. Brady says he's the guy that wants to DCA a bottom and sell the top. Pipe dream, I know. Well, you know what though? As long as your dollar cost averaging near the low end, I mean that's a lot more. But most people come in and they want to buy that absolute lowest price, right? A lot of traders come in and they say, oh, the bottom is that lowest price. No, the lowest price is an event, okay? The highest price is an event. That means it happens and that's it. Tops and bottoms are these ranges that develop, which is why I always talk about them and looking at the price action and volume relationships as price is moving, right? So let's jump on in here, guys. DXY, here's the dollar. You can see that we got this bounce off the S1 on the hourly here, rally up to the hourly pivot, drop off, bounce back up, and getting ready to drop on down here. Looking for a breakdown below the green demand structure here on the hour. A breakdown below 103.541 is going to add confidence to the count. That gives us a minimum expected wave 3 target right down here at about 101.035. And I think that 101 area is also Fiboswany's kind of target area he's looking at with his system as well. So I like the confluence there. So that's nice. Don't talk about DCA strategy with John Wick on Twitter. He'll go crazy. Yeah, and so, John's a good guy. He really is. I like him a lot. And he's down here in Houston as well. But, he may be right. It may continue lower. We've talked about that, right? But I hate to deal in absolutes. Absolutes other than you're going to lose money at some point as a trader. You're going to. Period. End of sentence. I think that's the only guarantee as far as trading, right? But what I tend to look at, my years of experience, right, is when people start to get very feverish, right? So I posted just recently on Twitter. You guys those of you that follow me on Twitter may have seen it. And I said here that, what did I say? I said, I don't want to tell you guys any lies down here, right? Oh my gosh, where is it here? The bearishness across the markets is reaching an almost frenzied depressive point, especially in crypto. Yeah, so, again, guys, when we were up there in April at that first of the double top kind of area, and I mentioned, hey, it doesn't have to be the top, but it's likely a local top, and we're coming down toward, the target where we end up going. I'm feeling a lot of that in here. Now, that doesn't mean that the absolute lowest price is in, but what it means is what's going on in the market has hit that phase at which point things are likely trying to change, right? And so what happens often is that as you get to the lows of a bear market, retail's out of money, but their mouths aren't out of energy, right? And again, I'm not saying this about John or anything. I'm just saying just in general, right? This is what markets do. And so as a trader, I tend to pay a lot of attention to what's being said and how that's being echoed throughout the system. And I do I do as much as I can to try to get out of the echo chambers that social media tends to put you in, right? Just to kind of get a feel for what may be going on there. And as you guys have seen, it tends to work pretty good. We said it again there at the 3,100 area in 2018 bear market low, right? Said the same thing there. Said, yeah, it could go lower, but man, this looks like we're at the bottom here and we're looking for a breakout. And that's what we got, right? And so I don't want you thinking that a lot of people, a lot of new traders, especially inexperienced traders, they'll throw around the whole, the market's so bearish and the market's so bullish. Or worse yet, they'll say, oh, my Twitter feed or my Facebook feed is so bearish or so bullish. And that's not actually what we're looking for. Because again, especially in social media, your feed tends to be curated by the algos, right? They feed you what they think you want to see. Not necessarily what you think you agree with, but what they think that you want to see that you have proven, according to their algo, that you will respond to and spend time on the site. Because as a social media platform, the longer they keep you on the site, the more money they can make, advertisements and whatnot. This is how the game works, right? So don't ever say, oh, my feed is all this or that, because it really doesn't mean a hill of beans, right? By the way, Rich O'Toole, beans don't go in chili, man. Just saying. Anyway, He's a Texas music singer. He's a big beans and chili fan. So if you're in Texas, generally Texans don't put beans in our chili. But it's a great little thing to have fun with. To be fair, John is not against DCA. He's against DCA on the way down. He says wait for the bottom, then DCA on the uptrend. Yeah. So there's that right there, right? But where John and I differ is John follows the longer term trend, right? So he wants to trade on the trend like the weekly trend. I'm like, the way I trade, I'm like, man, I'm giving up too much money if that's all I'm doing. I find the opportunities to go long in a downtrend as well, not just to go short, right? I find reasons to short on an uptrend, not just go long, right? Because, again, that way you're making exponentially more returns if you do that correctly, right? So, yeah, definitely nothing against John. I think he's a great guy, and he's got a lot of brains when it comes to trading and all. We trade differently, right? And I think that's the one thing traders need to understand is that you're going to trade according to what makes you the trader you are. And that's going to be different from everybody else. And so, the idea is to learn, to understand how and why markets move the way they do. And then from there, understand what is your time frame as a trader. What kind of short, mid, and long-term financial and wealth goals are you looking for, right? How much time do you actually have to trade in a day? And not just how much time do you have to trade in a day, but how much of that time do you really want to trade? Some people have all day to trade, but they only want to trade 2 hours. Some people want to trade 8 or 10 hours a day, but they only have 2 hours to trade. You need to understand these questions and understand your particular situation to learn how you should be trading. Trading is not a one-size-fits-all mentality. Okay, guys? Hank, what's going on, man? Good to see you checking in. So the dollar, again, looking for the breakdown. If we get the breakdown below the green range here, that should take us here below 103.5, basically, which should then get us down here to that wave 3 territory. Now, it is possible this count needs to be adjusted a bit. There's a lot of in this area right here. I've got a couple of different ways I can look at this here. Right now, I've got this as a leading diagonal and then heading down, but there are some other things we're looking at. That 101 area will actually get you, I believe. Yep, there it is. Not right there, but we are right now right here around this S1 pivot on the daily. Now, the thing is, usually I'm looking for a rally from the S1 to the pivot, a rejection, and to come on down. But we're coming in. We've only got a few days left in this month, and these pivots will change, right? Because the daily pivots change every month. So I think we'll see this pivot move down more, and this S1 will probably move up more. And I wouldn't be surprised, especially if we continue to even just bleed on down here a bit, I wouldn't be surprised to see this S1 pivot pop up here, 105 or something. And then all of a sudden, this becomes this movement up to the S1, it gets rejected, and now we're looking at lower. Right? So on the daily, though, as you can see here, Stochh RSI, we broke out into overbought, came down, broke back into it. But, it's up there kind of. But the thing is the daily here. I don't like reactions, like major reactions. So if I'm looking for like a larger degree wave 1, I don't usually what we're looking for in that is a breakdown into oversold. When it stops here at around 30, because this low end of the RSI is 30 right here, right? And so this is this 31, just a little bit above it there. So when we're stopping like that and we're just kind of going sideways, we're not quite going in, usually that's sideways before a final push down into it, right? And that would kind of align with what we're looking at overall on the local Bitcoin chart, which we'll pull out in a minute here. But, we are watching all this overlap coming on down here, right? So, my thought is, again, I do believe the top's in. I think there's a great likely story, that the top is in. So right now, I might be willing to revisit that thought if we break out above this. Well, yeah, I guess we can say this swing high right here. This is 107.993 on the DXY. If we're breaking out impulsively above that, I might be willing. I think at that point, I'll start looking at maybe we'll break out higher here and we'll start looking like that 122 area, 122 handle, right? But even if we just kind of break out a little bit and then roll back over, I mean, to me, there's nothing happening there that says anything other than we're going to continue down lower. Now, why would that happen? If you guys need narratives, right? So I'm a big believer in social mood, right? And so basically what social mood says is what happens out and about displays itself in what's going on in the charts, right? So most traders, most investors, they look at the chart and they say, oh, the chart is doing this, so people are going to do that. Well, it's really the other way around. People are feeling a certain way, so they do what they do, which shows itself in the markets, right? So if people are feeling more sure and more confident, it's going to show itself in the charts with the markets moving up, right? If people are feeling fearful, if businesses are sensing a recession coming or something, they're going to start laying off people. They're going to start, pulling back their expenses and whatever. And so you're going to see their stocks falling, right? So we tend, and this is why a lot of times when I'm posting stuff for our members, we're in well before anybody else. We don't have to jump in on the breakout. We're usually situated before it happens. So we can just kind of sit back as the rest of the crowd decides to jump in and just, fires our price on up. And we can, and then that point gives us a lot of ability to be more, to not have to feel like we have to ride it up so far, right? A lot of your problems you're going to have as traders, guys, is not taking profits. You get in there and you've got profit. You go, oh, but it looks like it's going to go up further and you're scared you're going to miss out on it, so you don't take your profit. And then it turns on you and, drops back down. And so not only do you lose the profit that you had usually, but you'll also take a loss because you'll let it go and hit your stop loss. Or worse yet, you'll be so upset that you didn't take profit and that it's about to hit your stop loss that you'll move your stop loss lower. And so you'll take even more loss. Be emotional trading, guys. Emotional trading. You don't want to do that, right? So, that's kind of what I'm thinking, big picture here, right? So what do we know? We know that the Fed dropped the interest rate 50 basis points, which is what we were expecting, right? They did it, finally. Fed meets 8 times a year. I put the schedule there in the latest issue of the Market Breakdown. You guys can subscribe to that if you haven't yet. The marketbreakdown.com. Oh, wait. marketbreakdown.substack.com. You can jump in there. It's a free newsletter that I put out each week. I was a little bit late this week because of everything that happened last week with me. But we'll be back out again this Sunday. It usually comes out on Sunday evenings. And we just take a look at everything. We take a look from, the different things that go on CPI and stuff like that, interest rate hikes, to charts, usually keeping up with the dollar, stock market in general, maybe some specific stocks. As a matter of fact, we talked about Tesla, and we'll talk about that today here on the stream, so I got to get going here. And, cryptos and Forex and, just all that great stuff. Just trying to give you guys what I believe a better grounding, not just in understanding what's happening and what it likely means, but also in how to be a trader when this stuff happens, right? Let me see here. Is your buddy Scott okay? He hasn't done many charting videos recently. Feels like he doesn't want to be wrong or feel responsible for people losing money, but in general, just miss watching him. Yeah, I think that's what it has a lot to do with. It's a tough thing, guys. Like for me, what I do, right? I can show you how to do it. I can give you the rules to do it. But if you're emotional and you don't follow through and do the things that you have to do, and then you jump up there and you start blaming me for you being wrong, right? And this happens, guys. This happens. Because traders don't understand. This is the difficult part of teaching people to trade. You want to know why the LMT program costs what it does? Because only people who are really serious about it are going to do it. Which means they have a much, much greater likelihood of benefiting from it and being successful. I'm going to be straight up honest with you guys. I mean, yeah, there's the time and the cost associated with it. But really, a big driver, the reason that it's priced like it is because that way people are serious about it. You throw $100 into something and you go, oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter if it really does work and you're just screwing around and not doing what you have to do. And, this is going to hurt some people feeling that are listening to this. I'm sorry, let it hurt your feelings, guys. I'm not here to handhold your feelings. through mistakes that you're making. If you are choosing not to do the things you have to do to get to where you need to go in life, that is 100% on you. Nobody else. But as societies and governments are making it okay for people to blame others for their things, right? For things that happen. Remember, guys, I always tell you, how you feel in life, how you approach life is the same way you're going to approach trading. If in life, if you feel that you don't have control, if you feel like it's always somebody else's fault, just think about it. A lot of you are sitting there shaking your head going, nah, I don't do that. I always take responsibility. Be honest with yourself. I guarantee very, very few of you actually do. Even me, I'm used to taking responsibility, and every once in a while I'll be like, oh, it was somebody else's fault, right? But then I have to put myself in check because I'm out here telling you guys what I believe, right, honestly, about the involvement that we have in the things that happen to us, right? And, the quick knee-jerk reaction, especially, when we see it everywhere else is, oh, yeah, blame it on somebody else. Then I don't have to take responsibility. The problem with that, though, is by not taking responsibility, you are never able to let go. You can't possibly get better. You have to understand your responsibility in anything that's happened to you. Your responsibility that is, again, guys, I always use the example that if you're walking down on the sidewalk and somebody's driving a car and they jump up on the sidewalk and hit you, well, yeah, that's their fault for jumping up on the sidewalk and hitting you, right? There's nothing, I'm not going to deny that. That is clearly theirs, right? But you made decisions in your life that put you on that sidewalk at that time. And, if you're first listening to this, it might not make a whole lot of sense. But when you start thinking about it for a while, it'll click. And you'll be like, oh, okay. So you don't have to accept the responsibility that they hit you, but you do have to accept the responsibility that your decisions put you in that situation. Because what that does is it opens you up to the understanding that things happen in life. They just happen. And how we choose to deal with them defines who we are. It defines on how successful we can possibly become in life. And if you get that, then you accept that it happened and you can move on. You can figure out, how do I get beyond that now? And now that's a very extreme example. But if you can understand what I just said there and apply it to trading, all of a sudden you're going to realize how often you were letting your bad emotional trading decisions work against you. How you were constantly blaming it on everybody else. Wall Street, some exchange, crypto whales, all that, when at the end of the day, you had that part in it. Okay? I don't expect that I've reached most people with what I just said there, but I hope to God that even if you're not understanding at the moment, even if you want to argue with me about it at the moment, I hope you continue to come back and watch the streams and even join us at Texas West Capital so I can continue to help you get through that. Because I am telling you right now, as somebody who's been through it myself, that is one of the biggest things holding you back from being consistently profitable as a trader. All right? Let me see here. Winter storm coming over Utah and some other places. Yeah, man, it's crazy. U.S. is hit hard with it. Jeffrey, what's going on, man? He says, I agree. DXY just chops in this range. TA supports it, so does FA if the EU continues to raise as Fed slows down. Not that the dollar weakens, but other currencies strengthen in relative. Yeah, and that's what the DXY is, exactly, right? The DXY is a weighted average of, I can't remember off the top of my head how many it is, but, the Euro USD makes up 58% of that weighted value. The USD Yen makes up almost 12%, and then you have the cable USD, you have the USD Loonie, you have the Swissy, in USD and all these going in there at lowering degrees, right? I think the cable against the USD is something like 5% almost of the weighted value of the DXY. So yeah, exactly. Al Khalifa, what's up, man? Your biggest enemy, you? That's right, man. It is. And it's so hard, not just in trading, guys, but just in life to get people to understand that and to truly accept that. But it is so freeing when you do. Because now you understand how you've been setting yourself up for failure. How you've been sabotaging your success. Do you guys understand that in life, most people it's not that they can't be successful. And by successful means whatever it is that they want to do, make happy, whether it's make a lot of money or it's to have more time or whatever. They tend to sabotage themselves with that. You guys know that? Seriously. I'm telling you guys, I didn't get to where I am here. Guys, I started out just like you, right? I just was determined, as I graduated high school, that I wasn't going to spend the rest of my life working for somebody. I knew I did not want to do that. And I screwed up for the first, 4 years or so of trading. I lost so much money. And then, I decided to do the things that I needed to do, become who I am today. And what I've learned along the way in the last 25 plus years, 27 years now, is what I am trying to put forth to you guys in that LMT program so that you don't have to spend 20 years going through it. To help you guys understand what I did to become successful. Because I firmly believe that if I can do it, you can do it. You don't have to be, you don't have to be some super smart, exceedingly lucky person. Y'all have the ability to do it. That's what I'm trying to do, guys. Truth is a bitter pill, maybe, but truth nonetheless. Yeah, exactly. So, this is what we have going here. So you guys know, if you've been following me, we talked about this being the top up here. This hit my target that I gave when we hit the bottom in January of 2021, right? So we looked at the possibility of some potential, counts as we were getting up here, but always remained that was kind of generally our target, right? And so after we've been rejected from there, especially in this area, we got this big drop down. There's not a whole lot looking positive here with the dollar, right? We can look at the monthly here. That monthly is crazy. And we still got a long way to go here on the Stochk RSI and the RSI here on the daily. Now, on the monthly. Now, as far as we go here, we do have potential hidden bullish divergence building here, right? But if we drop below this this May of 22 swing low at 101.297. So again, my target's that just below that, right? Oh, I don't have it on this right here. But yeah, so that 101 and some change there right below it. So we hit that. That invalidates this hidden bullish divergence. And it opens up the move down here to the mid-lower 90s. Where we start getting these clustering here. See? So that's what I'm watching. I am watching on the monthly to see how this pans out. But again, if we just get to my target on that lower time frame, that'll invalidate that hidden bullish divergence. And we'll continue our move lower, right? Even the weekly has not come down yet into oversold, right? So, again, broke down over here. Broke down over here. So, again, at the major kind of areas, it does that. Right now we had, it bounced, it broke down over here and then printed that bullish divergence coming into the low and then moved up, right? You got lows here, breaks out, and then overbought here. And again, up in here, almost did it there. And here we are, of course, from, what is this, May of this year up through here, so what's that, 7 months? Just, making this, staying pretty much overbought here, printing these lower highs, bearish divergence coming on down. And so even on the weekly here, you can see that right here, it's just lower lows and lower lows here on the oscillator as well. So the oscillator confirming that price direction, right? So that's what we're kind of looking there, man. So, for me right now anyway, we're going to continue to look for that further breakdown. Obviously, if we break out above wave 2 here at 104.931, that's going to invalidate the count. Now, it's possible that could just mean that this is A and B and we're doing a C, or a W and X and we're doing a Y. In that case, we're going to be interested in this 105.25 to 105.4 kind of area as potentially being that and coming down. But for right now, we're looking for a breakdown through this demand structure here to get us a breakdown below 103.541, which should then signal that move down here to 101.035. So that's what I'm looking at. Again, we look at this weekly with on Sundays there with the market breakdown as well, right? Do I believe in a bust scenario once stocks finish their grand super cycle? If so, is it possible to see that bust start to happen as soon as next year. Yeah, so, I mean, that's a great thing, guys. So that was my reason. If you guys have been following me, I know Aeroquin's been following me for a bit. That's what I was looking for, right? Grand Supercycle top coming in. And instead, all we got was the rollover, right? We should have, at a Grand Supercycle top, again, you're talking about a fifth wave of a fifth wave of a fifth wave. So you're talking about this over-exuberance, this grand over-exuberance, right? We're going to party like it's the 1920s again, right? That's what you're looking for as far as a strong move and blow off top, right? But we didn't get that. We just got the rollover. NASDAQ rolled over in November of last year. And then the Dow and the S&P rolled over in January of this year, right? But it wasn't the top you would expect for that. And so that, again, is that element that keeps me from saying, yes, we're definitely topped out. Now, it's possible, maybe the count, I'm completely wrong on the count or whatever, maybe, but until this thing breaks down like super hard, because here's the thing. I'm going to pull up a chart here real quick. Here's the thing, guys. Load layout. Let me show you. So, we'll look at the monthly here, right? It rolled over here. This is the issue. This is my issue, is the rollover. I would expect to see something like this more so to the upside because of Grand Supercycle top. And so, I mean, you're right here. I popped this up on the monthly, guys. Look at this. This is huge monthly candle here in October. Look at that. That's huge. It's not bearish engulfing because it didn't open below the previous candle's close, right? But it's a super strong, big, huge candle, right? And then follow through in November. And so we get a little bit of a pullback right now. But we should be looking for some further up, right? And again, the idea being that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a leading diagonal gives you an A, and then a B, and then a short C. And then you get this strong rally, right? So I think there's a lot on this higher time frame which suggests that we could end up going up higher there, right? And again, maybe not quite as extreme as this, but we're looking for some large movement candles to blow off. So could that happen next year? I think it's possible. I think if there's a couple of different ways to look at this, right? And I think if this is maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have a fifth wave up and that's it, yeah, that's likely to happen next year, right? Months away from now, right? Summer maybe, maybe it even goes into the end of the year, right? But if now I believe this is 3 and this is 4, right? Well, this is 3 over here. This is it's a rare pattern. It's a megaphone pattern or inverted symmetrical triangle, right? So triangles usually, converge. This one starts at the convergence and opens up, right? So you go A, B, C, D, E, right? And so if this is only 1 and 2, well, then we can see this rally potentially into 2025 even, right? So I think it just depends on whether this is, if we do get the breakout higher, whether this is 3, 4, and a 5, or this is 1, 2, and then we've got 3, 4, 5. I'm not enough to say, I definitely think it's one or the other. But this is what I've been talking about since we got this rollover here and this overlap and whatever going on here. And I said, well, maybe this is just corrective before we head up higher. Now, when I look at this, because we've broken out, so if I look at this again, it's kind of easy to see here, right? It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a leading diagonal, right? And then the move up and then the breakdown. Now, if this was 1, 2, 3, right? 3 coming down, you can't break out above wave 2. So that invalidates that. If this is a leading diagonal, this is just 3 waves down, and we've confirmed that it's 3 waves down here. That's important if you're doing Elliott wave, because it means that it's a correction and it's complete. Or at least the low is in on it, right? Most likely. I mean, you could always still get some sort of flat correction, So it rallies up toward the swing high up here, the all-time high, and then comes on back down to this low here, right? And then goes up. Or if this is wave 4, it could be a triangle, right? So you go A, B, C, D, E, and then up. Now that's an interesting possibility here, right? Because out of a triangle, you often get a thrust. A thrust is relative to the time frame you're on, it's a fast, strong, large candle movement, right? And that would potentially satisfy the idea of an overexuberance at the end of a grand super cycle, right? So this would have to be 3 down, then we'd have to get 3 up, then we'd have to get 3 down, 3 up, 3 down, and then up. So we could go sideways basically here for months next year, right? Into summer or even beyond, right? How would you guys feel if we just went sideways here all through next year, 12 months from now? We're still doing this sideways, making a triangle, right? So, these are the possibilities we're looking at. We don't know which one it's going to be for sure, but we do know that at least we have some context. At least we have some possibility going on there, right? And that's important. I see so much online and people are just parroting all this, the sky is falling stuff, and it could be, but it isn't clear that it is. If you look at the CPI, in this previous week's market breakdown that I sent out, we talked about the CPI, right? Something we've been talking about, the inflation. It was, 9.1% early this year. It's 7.1% as of last month, as of November, right? By the way, that's only 0.3% up from the November of the previous year. Annualized, the current annual CPI kind of thing over the last 3 months is right around 2.1%. The Fed's target is 2%. So there's clear inflation slowdown going on. Clear right now. Job growth continues to decelerate. We looked at that as well. We peaked out at 740,000 jobs earlier this year, right? And we have been going down ever since. There was one point at which we kind of went up a little bit and then we came down, but overall the trend continues down, right? So even though there's continued job growth, even though there's continued inflation, they are both showing strong deceleration. Stop worrying about the pivot and start noticing what's going on. Because if you're worried about the pivot, then you thought you were getting 75 basis point rate hike in December. And we didn't. We got 50. Now, those same guys are still going to be expecting 75. They're like, oh, it's an anomaly. We're still going to get 75 in February. I think with the way things are pushing at the moment, there's a good chance we might only get a 25% basis point rate hike in February, in the beginning of February, right? The Fed Watch tool, right now feeling the same way. 66% almost believe we're going to get a 25% basis point rate hike. 34.1% think we might get 75 or 50 basis point. Nobody thinks right now that we're going to get 75, right? If we look here at March, look at that March. March is still looking at that 475 to 5, right? 4.75 to 5 target rate and a half there, right? That's, again, if you're getting a quarter in February, that only gets you a quarter over here, right? Crypto is your retirement? Well, man, I never, I'll be honest with you guys. So as traders, there's a common adage that goes around that in order to be really good, you find something and you stick crazily into it, right? You stick like significant into it, right? So now, Raul Paul talked about that last year. I think it was the end of last year, beginning of this year, when he talked about how he had some really crazy push into the end of the year, right? Or involvement in Ethereum, right? Yeah, I'm about to get rid of this guy right here. Sorry, but if you're spamming here, we're going to go ahead and just block you. Sorry, guys. Unfortunately, it just is what it is, right? Oh my God. All right, you know what? Sorry, guys. Give me just 1 second here. Let me block these guys. Absolutely stupid. Well, I mean, hey, listen, you're spamming. It is what it is, man. I'm not one of those big influencers that just, I love to have everybody on here. I don't care what they're saying. We're going to do it. So you guys coming on here doing this, we're just going to go ahead and block you. Okay? Simple as that. But anyway, so yeah, again, even the market is looking for what we're looking at, right? Oh my God. Anybody else out here helping me block these people? Oh my gosh. Stupid idiots. Guys, listen, if you get into this Doge GF thing here because these idiots are coming on here spamming, you deserve to lose your money. I'm going to be honest with you. You guys got to be careful with what you're doing there. If it's legitimate, you're not going to have people spamming stuff like this. Be careful when you follow people's links and comments and stuff. If they're spamming in those comments about something, there's no legitimate, real reason to be involved with that, right? Real companies don't spam like that, right? They don't need to. They've got professionals, right? You guys have to understand this. You guys have told me when, people have come in and just scammed you with stuff like that. Stop letting them do that. Okay, guys? And make you an hey, Fibble Swanee, I'll definitely make you an admin, man. I'll have to figure out when to get that done. But anyway, guys, so, I mean, at the end of the day, right now, the market kind of agrees with the same way I'm looking at it, right? We're looking at smaller potential rate hikes, right? I'm not concerned about the pivot at the moment. As long as things are decelerating in terms of inflation and job growth, the Fed, there's a pressure taken off the Fed to continue to raise so strongly. And if it's taken off that so strongly, then it means that there's even more of a chance that you might see it continue to slow down, right? And so if you're not looking at that, you're going to continue to look at that bigger end, right? You're going to miss your opportunities because you're so stuck on what you think needs to happen rather than paying attention to what's actually happening, okay? Oh, my God. All right, guys. See, my people that follow, the people that have been here a long time, they know what scams are. So, yeah. I'm sorry you guys had to deal with that. Again, we try to give you real information here. So let's go ahead and jump over. We haven't looked at Bitcoin yet, right? Well, here, we'll look at, this is dominance right here. So this is my dominance count, right? So I'm looking at us potentially of the Bitcoin dominance having bottomed back here in September, right? I've got a wave 1, a wave 2 locally here. I think there's a good chance that this is maybe like a 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 is a triangle, and we'll get a 5 on the pop. So I think we still got a little bit higher up here to finish up with the dominance, and then we'll pull back, and then we'll rally back up. But I think we're 1, 2 on and working on wave 3 here on this rally. Wave 3 has a minimum expected target of 45.91%. Okay? So that's where I am on that. Yeah, I mean, you can see right here, we had this big bit of volume showing up here on that dominance, right? And then trails off here. But there's no follow through, right? The volume continued to fall off as we came down and it didn't follow through. Remember, guys, listen, if you haven't heard this, listen, guys, okay? Here's the deal. When, I gotta think about what I was just about to say. It was so important, and yet it just slipped my mind. Okay, here's what it is. A lot of people, especially if they just have some offshoot, just heard of Wyckoff, they think that what it means is there are big people manipulating the market and making the market do what they want it to do. That's not the case. Okay? They are testing the market. Your bigger players are testing the market, right? And that's what happens in ranges. They're testing the market in these ranges. If you're sending it down here and it finds that low and it's not, it's not following down lower, the market's not pushing it lower. The market doesn't want to go down lower. Now, I know we're looking at the dominance chart here, but it's the same concept. It's the same idea, right? All they're doing is testing the ranges, the range highs, the range lows, to see if the market is ready to mark up or if it's going to continue to mark down. So it isn't like, oh, they would come in and say, okay, well, I'm going to, the market's definitely going to be the bottom right here. No, this is a logical area based on TA and how people work, right? So now we want to add to it, and then we'll hit a top up here and we'll send it back down, and then we'll come down here and we'll see, can we continue to push it down? We're going to send it down, but not follow it all the way through down. We send it down and then see if the market picks up with it. Right here, right? Look at this volume, this huge bit of volume, right? So, on any chart, that would have been pushing it down, right? They're sending money into it or sending supply into it, right? To send it lower. And what they're looking for, does the market jump on that and continue to pull it lower or not? And they didn't. You had all this volume over these candles right here, right? In this case, right? And then rally back up, and then a push, dip just below. And you can see right here, as it's coming down, the volume's dropping off. The market's not interested in sending that lower. So if you can leave here with one thing today, other than risk management, because risk management is always the most important thing, right? But it's the understanding that nobody is out there telling the market what to do. The market is going to do what it's going to do when it does it. Okay? So stop thinking that the market has to do something. This is what we're just talking about, right? I said if you were banking on a 75% interest rate hike in December, you weren't paying attention to the slowdown, to the deceleration in job growth, the significant deceleration in job growth and in inflation. You weren't paying attention. On the charts, don't assume that price has to go down or it has to go up. It's all when a range starts developing, there is a test going on in that range. It's up to the market to decide whether it's going to take it down or pull it up. Okay, guys? If you can wrap your heads around that, you're going to be so much further ahead than most of the other people that you see online, retail traders, no matter how they trade. This is why we teach this stuff, guys, in TWC. Because it's bits of nugget and understanding like that no matter how you trade is going to positively affect your success. Okay? So this is what we're looking for here. So again, locally here, I think maybe we got a 4 of 1 of 3. We'll probably break out here a bit higher and then kind of come on back. So to get us a 1, 2, and then we'll get a 3 out here. And wave 3 looks like it'll probably overextend and actually end up being higher there. Probably up here around this supply cluster. 47.5, I think, would probably be the likely area that we'd see it overextend to. If the count's correct here and we get that push up. So now we jump over here to Bitcoin, right? Let me see here. Let me talk about this real quick. This was the chart I also showed in this week's market update. This is the CME, Bitcoin futures, right? And what I said was, as we came into the end of last week, I was talking about how I wanted to see us closing up higher, right? I didn't want to see a candle like this. Because while it doesn't guarantee that a reversal is going to happen, it significantly increases the odds, right? This is almost a reversal hammer here at the top with a big, large wick here at the top, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean a reversal. It could just mean a pullback, right? And so what we would need to see then is what we see is a rally up into this. And if it were to break, so if we were to break out above this swing high, this structure where you have this movement up like this, and then it ends at the top of the trend here. If it ends like this and you get limited pullback, but it breaks out above the top of it, that's extremely bullish. That particular structure is extremely bullish. And so we've just got a little bit of a pullback here. I want to see that. If we can see that, that's going to say a lot. That's going to say a lot. But we have to see it. And so that swing high up there, this is, again, the CME futures, is around 18,420. So we would love to see follow through here that breaks out above that, and all of a sudden that becomes extremely bullish. Still no guarantees, guys. Still no guarantees that would signal that this is the low point, right? But again, it would significantly increase the possibility that that's so. Just because of this particular candlestick, trend and candlestick structure, if we were to just pull back this bit and then break out higher. Because all this does then is it just clears out the supply that was here, and demand continues to show up and take it out. That's what's going on there. Okay, guys? So that's what we're kind of looking at here, all right? Let's see here. Kimo's Hobby says he has a count that suggests we enter a super macro wave 4 next year and within 2 years make 8,000 print on the Dow Jones. I wouldn't be hating it. Here's the thing, guys. As traders, you shouldn't... I think the only people that care that Bitcoin is down off that, 69,000, 70,000, 69,000 all-time high area are those who were hoping to hold and have it just continue rallying. If you are a real trader, though, you've had so many opportunities, even on larger time frames, to short and to long along the way and increase the stack that you have. So many opportunities, guys. Even again on this weekly even here. You had your short here, right? Potentially on if you zoom into the daily, you've got a long here. You've got another short, you've got a long, you've got another short, you've got a long, you've got another short, you've got a long, you've got another short, you've got another long. You should be if you are a trader, you should be at minimum trading these shorts and longs here based on the daily time frame. Right? There's no reason you shouldn't be. If you learn to do that correctly, you now hold a lot more Bitcoin down here than you ever had up here. Which means when it does rally, even if it goes down lower, you're just continuing to build that. If you believe Bitcoin's going to go to a new all-time high, then you are collecting so much. And you're collecting so much Bitcoin at lesser and lesser price points. Your overall part of acquisition there is much lower. Right now, this obviously is the USD chart, right? So, if you were, trading out for money, right? And with that money, if you were buying Bitcoin along the way, right? So if you, the key would be if you want to stack Bitcoin, for instance, right? And you're playing these ups and downs along the way, you take the money that you make from it, and then you use it and you buy Bitcoin that you stick over in your other pile, right? And you don't touch that. If you think Bitcoin's going to rally up higher, to me, this becomes the better way to DCA, right? Because you can continue to collect on the downs and the ups along the way more and more money that you can put forth toward lesser and lesser priced Bitcoin. So when it does, if you're correct and it does break out to a new all-time high, you've got, I don't even know, 5, 10, 20 times, depending on how you're trading here along the way, more Bitcoin than you had here. But again, this is where we go back to what I was saying at the beginning, which is most traders come in and they just want to sell the absolute highest price or buy the absolute lowest price and then just let it ride. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, except that the odds are significantly against you that you will ever, even once in your life, hit the exact price. Yeah, sure, it could happen. I've gotten pretty close more than a few times. But if that is your system that you're trying to do, you're doing it wrong. You're going to lose a lot more money than you'll ever make. This highest price is just an event. This highest price is just an event. This was the distribution. Boom. Reaccumulation, right? Boom. Highest price. This is the distribution, right? Boom. Come on down. This, on the larger time frame, is the distribution. You got it? This is the top. Not this. This is just the highest price. This, when we were coming up here, this is the top. This was just an event, this highest price. This is the top. This highest price was just an event. You have to learn to look at the charts more intelligently, guys. You got to learn that this is the way that it happens. The highest and lowest prices are not the top and the bottom. They are just the events. The top is a range. The bottom is a range. Does that make sense? All right. Let's see here. If that super cycle top for stocks does happen in 23, would that allow Bitcoin to reach a new all-time high, or would a new all-time happen during a dead cat for stocks later in the decade? Well, I think, we've come down a long way, guys. We're sitting at 16.8 or whatever, and that all-time high is 69,000. So my first honest answer is I don't think we'd see a new all-time high in Bitcoin in 2023. Now, we know that Bitcoin can rally pretty rapidly. We know that, right? So that's definitely a possibility, right? Definitely a possibility. A possibility in that, we can't say, oh, it's definitely not going to happen. There's a good chance it could happen, considering, if this was the low here and everything we're heading up. But my initial thought is that we wouldn't see that happening. But it doesn't mean I'm not open to it happening. Again, we give these general declarations about these much, much larger time frames, and then we trade the shorter time frames. Those larger declarations give us a roadmap, give us a narrative, right, to base our lower time frame trading on. But at the end of the day, the longer out your time frame goes, the more fluid you have to be, the more liquid, the more like water, as I like to say, that you have to be. Because you have to be willing to accept that from 16.8 to 69,000 is a long way. And it's definitely not happening in a month. It's going to take some time. And so during that, the price action, the path that it takes can take many different forms, right? I mean, look at this right here. This was the bear market low in 2018. We had all this sideways here, right? And then we had some pretty good movement up, but then we had this more dragged out kind of sideways here. And then more dragged out kind of sideways till we got toward that swing high. And then it popped and then it took off, right? So yeah. And in this area, you've got this the 25,000 area here. You've got this 32.2 area. You've got this 46,000 area here. And then you've got this, this area up here around 62. And then again, the all-time high up there is 69. I mean, those are your major areas that you're watching as you're kind of moving up. Just eyeballing it real quick. So you can get a pop up to those areas, and then likely it's going to take a little bit to come down, right? It took longer. Look at this. Let me show you guys something here real quick. From this point right here, okay? To get up from, let's see here. We'll go from the close on the candle, okay? To get up from there to this first all-time high up here, right? Where I said, it's not the top, but it's a top. 300% up there, right? Took 154 days or so. Now, coming off here, right? Just to drop down. Coming down just half of that, right? 56 or half of 50, 37,000 is what I'm trying to say, right? Dropping down 37,000 took right there. Okay. Took 70 days, right? That was the quick push. But here's the real story. The real story is to get up here, right? From that same area, because I use the same area because that's where we hit over here, right? So it took basically a year, 364 days, right? And that was to make it up here about 325%, $53,000, right? But if we come off that, if we come off that to the same kind of low area here, right? We'll look at that this big candle right here, right? So 53 up, basically coming down around 53 down, right? 53,300 down. It's taking 364 days. But look what happened here. We only made it up this tiny bit, this $5,000, this extra $5,000 in height took us out of the 364 days here, took 224 days, guys. 224 days. Most of this rally was done in 154 days. In comparison, the move down is not as strong as they move up. It's a lot more overlap, right? A lot more areas of overlap. These sideways movements, right? Overhaul took a lot longer, right? So in the moves up, we expect the pops up, and then we expect it to take a little bit longer on these down moves, right? Because the overlap takes time, right? When you break out above those all-time high, those significant areas, price takes off. When you're coming down, price does a lot more of this, right? It's a lot more of that back and forth as people are trying to still long as it's coming down, especially at first, right? And then as you get toward the bottom, people start covering a bit more. But also at the bottom, you start getting people that if they've got anything left, they start shorting, and then they start getting stopped out. So you've got a whole situation going on down toward the low end, right? Tao, what's up, man? Good to see you. Gang, it's good to see you as well. So yeah, this is kind of what we're looking at as we're doing this, right? So now let's go ahead and jump in here to current Bitcoin, right? And we are basically just having issues right here at the what is the 15-minute pivot, right? You can see here that we've got this hourly supply here, right? Which we've kind of hit a few times, rejected right prior, pushed up into it, and then came back down. Right? You have the nice kind of doji candle here. Well, not even doji, more like a, what does Crypto ISO call it? A Darth Maul candle right here. We pulled back into it, found support where the previous support is, right? Printed a higher low, popped back up, and then closed back down. So there's still supply kind of coming in here, right? Look at the volume coming in here. But we're not getting follow through yet. We're printing low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, potentially a higher low. So our market structure off, this swing low here, if you're a shorter time frame trader, right? Off Thursday is bullish market structure coming up there on the hourly, right? We've got a lot of room here with the RSI and Stochh RSI to go up still. But we're kind of iffy because we're sitting here. What we need is a breakout above this supply range here, above this swing high at 17,060 and 86 cents here on Coinbase. If we can do that, we should be looking. Our next goal is not just to reach the hourly pivot, because what will likely happen is we'll hit it and we'll pull back and then we'll break out. But we're looking for an impulsive breakout above that pivot, right? Our next big thing then is an impulsive breakout above the daily pivot and this descending resistance, right? Again, most likely what we would normally expect is a rally up to this area, a pullback, a rally up toward that area, a pullback, and then the breakout, impulsive breakout. We don't normally expect it like to come from here and just keep on rallying all the way up through all that. It happens on occasion, but most of the time we expect rejection, pullback, give us a higher low, and then breakout. If we're breaking down further here, you can see that actually where we found support here is the 61.8 on the larger count, this larger 1-2 potential count here. We found rejection. We're finding rejection right here at the 50, right? Yeah, we wicked out, but the rejection is coming right there at the 50, right? So I think if we can actually get a nice impulsive close above that, I think we follow through and head higher. But what we had on the pullback here was the 61.8. Now, this is really odd structure here. And so in yesterday's Elliott Wave session with our Tier 3 members, I discussed possibilities on what we're looking for here and what it could or could not maybe mean. All right? But, for right now, I'm here to say that it is kind of crazy. It does look like an ABC. If you zoom in closer, it looks like maybe you can get 5 out of that. Let's say you think it's 5 up right there. You can see that we hit the 61.8 at the 61.8, which is just this blue supply or this blue demand cluster EQ area, which is where we expect it to rally off, right? Now, there is no reason on the if you know these things, right? That we teach our members here. If you know it, there's no reason you shouldn't have longed right here, toward this target up here. The risk to reward was astronomical, right? Had you done that, just bought on this candle close here, the next candle open, put your stop loss right below. I mean, you should have been in that up here to, at least almost 4 to 1. $213 of movement up. There's no reason that you shouldn't have been in that, right? If you're a shorter term trader. Especially when you look at what happened on the 15-minute, bullish divergence and stuff like that, right? Even look at your 4-hour. Look at that 4-hour. Again, right into this area right here, which we, 61 adding a larger thing, the EQ here of this demand cluster here, and then you get this hammer candle pointing here, right? I mean, there's no reason you shouldn't have been going long there for a minimum up toward that target. It's easy money. But this is what I talk about, guys. When you're trading, you should be going after the low-hanging fruit. Stop trying to swing for the fences every time. You're more than likely going to lose money on that. But if you constantly just make these smaller trades, rinse and repeat, day in and day out, time and compounding are going to take care of getting you where you want to get wealth-wise. Most traders aren't patient with that. So they go into the longer-term traders. They try to get into it, and they lose money anyway. How does that help you? You're like, oh, I don't have the patience to do that or whatever, so I'm just going to do this other one because there's not enough profit for me in it. Well, you got to make sure it's profitable first, depending on what exchange you're on, guys. Okay? If you can be on something like Femex or another exchange that has that you can pay, like if you're trading spot, you can pay just a monthly fee, like $10, and trade as much spot as you want, or limited amount, but up to a pretty good amount. I mean, if you can do that, then trades like this make sense all day, every day. You can find trades like this multiple times a day throughout all the markets, right? Multiple trades like this all day. And you don't have to worry about, the cost, all the fees that you have to pay to get in and out of it, right? But like one of our members was talking to me about was Coinbase One, or Coinbase Pro, whatever the heck they're calling it these days. Has some crazy fee structure, laddering fee structure and whatever, and makes it almost not worth doing it on the shorter time frames. And, and it is what it is. You have to understand as a trader, what are your limitations? Not just what are your limitations as a trader, but what are your limitations of the platform that you are using? You have to understand this. And all of this, again, feeds into how you trade. It feeds into this whole, again, what I was talking about at the beginning. How risk adverse or risk tolerant are you? What are your short, mid, and long-term financial and wealth goals? How many hours a day do you have to trade? Of those, how many hours a day do you want to trade? I mean, all these questions and more help you define who you are as a trader. Many of you guys have not gone through this, and you sit there and you're losing money because you're not trading to who you are. Your situation, all those questions may decide that you need to be more of a swing trader, holding for a couple of days or something. But here you are trying to trade the 5-minute charts. And that's why that's a lot of why you end up losing with that. Because you haven't figured out who you are as a trader. Does that make sense? So, again, guys, these are the things, man, y'all, sometimes people come in here, they're new and they're just looking for buy and sell signals. Man, this stuff, like what I was just telling you, that's what you need to learn. That's the stuff that's going to make you successful. Or not. The other stuff is all just like putting little Band-Aids on huge wounds that you should be wrapping and gauzing up, right? It doesn't stop it. It doesn't make things better. You feel like it does. But after a little bit of time, if you really pay attention and look, you don't. But most traders, just like in life, in trading, they don't tend to take it too serious. They don't, if it says something they don't want it to say, when they look back, they ignore it. Or in their mind, they create a different narrative. And again, rarely is it, I screwed up. Most of the time it's, oh, something else is at fault. It's not that I did the wrong thing. It's not that I'm wrong. It's not that I could have done something different or better. It's that I did what I did. I'm great at what I do. I just got caught by what was going on with Wall Street or the Fed or crypto whales. Does that sound familiar, guys? Yeah? Yeah, so, and how do I know this, guys? Because, again, I keep telling you, when I first started trading, again, I knew I didn't want to work for somebody, so I had to figure out how do I do that. So there were two options. It was trading and it was entrepreneurship, right? And I took on both. And I was fortunate enough that I got to the point where I decided I needed help and I needed to stop thinking I was as great as I wasn't. because I was doing these exact things. And since over the last 27 years, the thousands and thousands and thousands of traders I've talked to, good and bad, have all basically, especially if they're retail, started out that same exact way. That's how I know this, guys. It's not like I'm all guessing or I'm just saying things, pull them out of my rear end. It's because I lived it. And I know you've lived it too. But now, I've been able to do this for a couple of decades now. It's fantastic. The lifestyle is amazing. But you can do it too. But it starts with acknowledging these things and then working on overcoming them. Right? That's what it is. Now, for some people, they don't know how. Right? Some people want to figure out how to do it quicker. Okay, so great. So, join something, right? Join us. We'd love to have you there, right? The mentor program, that's meant to be the drill down, everything we can do to possibly get you to get through these hurdles that you're having and giving you a system that actually works as long as you follow the rules in it, and doing all that. I mean, that's what it's about. And it's a year long so we can keep up with you. So we don't just give you a lot of times I go in there like, here, this is what you do, and then they let you go, and that's it. We want to help you get along through this. Because for me, what that means is you're making money, and if you're making money, guess what? We're going to have other opportunities for you to invest in things coming up over the next few years. Right? So I'm not just, altruistic or anything. There's an end game to what I'm doing here. If I can help you become profitable as a trader, then that increases the potential investors that I can have with the things we're going to be doing. And we're going to be shaking things up, guys, in and outside of trading. So yeah, I want you to be successful. I want you to make it happen. And I'm going to do everything I can to help you get there. All right. So that's kind of what we're looking with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin still has to make this move out. But if we can clear that swing high there, I think, again, depending on how long it takes, the hourly pivots here, because Bitcoin's 24 hours will reset on Sunday, 12 a.m. UTC time, Monday morning, right? And so, as we get through this, I could see this. I could see two things. I could either see a pump up into this area and then a rejection and a pullback here and then a breakout. Or if it takes through to the end of the weekend or Monday or whatever, I can see just a continue push out here all the way up into, again, this kind of area right here, right? And then a rejection and then a pull. That is my idealized situation. That's what we would normally expect to see. Doesn't have to happen, but normally that's what we would expect to see. So that's what I'm looking for with this, right? If we're looking at, oh man, always going late with you guys here lately, man. God, I love you guys, man. I love hanging out with y'all here. As far as silver go, oh, you know what? Let's go do this. Let's look at oil real quick. Because again, oil being part of that whole inflation narrative and everything else, right? I've got oil continuing higher. We've got the breakout here. I've got a wave 3 minimum expected target up here at 85.86. The 4 hour you can see is just starting, just dip down here around oversold. It's just now starting to rally. The daily, see, we're kind of topped on the daily here. So I'm still looking for the possibility. Maybe we've got a 1, 2, and then 1, A, B, C as a flat. But it is possible that we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll get a 5 down here for a 5 to finish up, down toward these lows, right? Before it actually kind of makes that way up. If we get this rejection and we fall back down below wave 2 here at 73.40, I'm looking down here around 65.5, maybe $64. If we lose that, as long as we continue pushing up though, I'm looking up the minimum expected right there around 85 and a half. Kind of like looking for this idea that we finish this flat correction up here toward about the $100 area. Right? So we'll see, right? Aeroquin. Yeah, send me a well. If you're on Discord, the easiest thing to do is send me a DM on Discord, man. All right, do that because it's quicker. Sometimes Twitter, for whatever reason, messages don't come through. I haven't figured it out yet. An email takes a while, but if you guys ever have questions, whatever, just log on to our Discord server there and then send me a message. I think you'll have to send me a friend request first because we had a whole issue with spammers and whatnot. But yeah, just do that, and I will get back to you. Sure, definitely. If you're having issues with the purchasing process or something, or even just have questions, guys, just reach out. Again, I'm unlike most people out there. I'm very, very accessible. And if you can't get a hold of me, you can get a hold of Adam Harris. Man, he's multiple time zones away from me. He lives in Alaska, so between the both of us, we've usually got you covered all day long. So yeah, but anyway, so yeah, that's what we're kind of looking at. Ignore all the other red lines here. I've been on the lower time frame. We're moving things around. So right now, my important thing is seeing a breakout above this kind of wave B up here at 83.34. Wave 3 minimum expected there at 85. 86 or whatever. Kind of looking for that move up here again toward this purple. Daily supply structure EQ right there around $100. But again, if we fall back below wave 2 here, can I get that in there? That's 73.40. To me, that says we're probably going to drop down below the swing low here. We're going to invalidate the count. And at that point, I think we've got maybe 5 waves down into this $64 to 64 to 65 and a half kind of range. And that would give us like 5 down. So that would be 1 or A, and then we'd have 2 or B up, and then, you would just kind of come to this area here most likely. This 82 to 87 kind of area maybe. And then we'd have 3 or B, or 3 or C kind of coming down lower. But, again, I'm the guy that said this looks like the top up here when everybody was saying, no, we're going to $300 and $400, right? So... we built this kind of double top here kind of area, dropped down, rallied up, found resistance as support, right? Found resistance as support here. Drop down, resistance just a little bit lower, right? Resistance, same area, right? So that support is providing resistance, sending down to a new low. It's not what you want to see if you think price is going to rally up to $300 or something. We'll see how it continues to follow out here though. Kimazabi, what's up? He says, your content is some of the best around. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Nobody talks about the risk management psychology of trading. Appreciate you taking the time week after week. Man, I'm telling you, that's because that's the most important part. Any monkey, guys, and I mean like a literal monkey, right, could learn to do this. Okay, maybe not a monkey, but what I'm saying is anybody can learn to do this. It doesn't take a lot of brain power. It really doesn't. You don't have to think, oh, man, I barely made it through high school. And I'm not smart enough to do this. Sure you are. I've got a few friends who never even completed high school, who are living that lifestyle that you want as traders. They make 7 figures trading a year, right? And I've got others who have gone on and done really well in other things, and they're doing it as well, as also, and then just average people who've graduated high school and maybe done a little bit of college but never graduated, and they're doing well as well. So it's not lack of intelligence. It's going to keep you from being successful as a trader. It really comes down to first and foremost humbleness. Because markets are so easy for everybody to get into, they automatically think, oh, I know what I'm doing. I can do it. The hardest thing for me, and it's been the same thing for most traders I've talked to, is getting over that initial hump. Like, not just paying it lip service, but truly saying, yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing here. And I really need somebody who does know what they're doing to help get me on the right track. That's the first thing, most often, guys. A lot of people can do it just from books or videos or whatever. Most people cannot. But even those that can, it takes a lot longer and usually will cost you a lot more money than if you were to find somebody to help you do it. These are the things that I learned, and that's why I did the things that I did to get to where I am at now. Some people go, oh, no, you're just saying that to show your thing. It is what it is, guys. Again, I'm not here to convince you that you have to do that. I'm here to tell you that's the way it is. And whether you're humble enough to accept and understand that as truth, that's on you, right? All I can do is give you guys the information here and help you understand it. But you actually have to do the work, right? So let's jump on over here real quick. I just wanted to check out the Tesla chart. This is another chart we had in this week's, almost forgot. Where's my Tesla chart? Oh, there we go. In this week's market breakdown, right? And so if you were watching that, if you saw that, we were right here coming in here, and I said, this gives us a nice confluence here. Basically, I drew it on here real quick, so I'm a little bit off, but with this pitchfork coming off the top, right? But I said, if it broke down, our next target is this kind of 118 area here at the EQ of this green structure, right? So this is kind of where we're at the moment. And look at the volume coming in, right? Look at the volume coming in. So we can look here with our last spike of volume, right? This volume right here, and this breakdown, that candle spread, the size of that candle, it's right here, right? The size of that candle there was $6.87, right? This larger, it's noticeably larger spike of volume here. The size of that candle is 12.22, right? So you've got more effort and more result coming in here. So we're looking for where does that change? Well, look what's coming on right here. Look at the volume in this compared to the previous. Well, more than half, right? But look at the candle spread. So $12.22. Got a slightly lower low, and right now the candle spread is only 90 cents. Your volume looks like it's 3/4 of what it was there, right? Let me see what the volume is. Look right up here where it says volume. The volume here, yesterday's candle, was 210 million. The volume today, so far, is 135 million. So well more than half, right, of what yesterday was. And that candle spread is 90 cents compared to $12.22, right? So what is that? That's like we're about 85%, not 85, 8.5% maybe, 8% of what yesterday's candle spread was, and we're pumping out more than half the volume. So what does that tell us? That tells us a lot more effort for the result we're getting. And these are the kind of things that you want to look for when you get a bounce or a reversal kind of thing going on, right? Doesn't guarantee it's going to happen right there. Again, right here, you saw this, right? But it did kind of go sideways for this, bounced up and then kind of here and dipped down, but kind of kept this resistance here till it dropped down for a few days, right? Let's see here. If we can break out above this candle, 136.63, I would pay attention at that point. I would pay attention. I would look for a rally up here toward this white candle here on the daily. This is 153 to 161 or so, the entire candle. That's where I would look for if we can break out above this. If we can break out above that, things are really starting to look interesting at that point. So yeah, but you might have also known how bearish everybody is on Tesla all of a sudden the last 2 weeks, right? Extremely bearish. All the charts out there. Even TradingView put out a chart. This is Tesla over the last 3 months, And so again, what we tend to notice is as things start to bottom or get near a bottom, the rhetoric turns up. So at a bottom, it becomes very, very bearish. At the top, again, as we showed on Bitcoin, laser eyes, all that stuff, the rhetoric tends to become very, very bullish. Can't possibly go down, right? At the bottoms, it has to absolutely go down, right? So I'm watching Tesla right now. I'm watching for an entry on Tesla myself. And then finally, of course, we've got coin here. Let's see here. Let's look at this chart. Look at that. Look at coin. Look at coin. So we've got this rally here from a low down there at almost 33 up to here almost 36, right? So you're talking about just about 10% rally off this low here on Thursday, on yesterday morning, just over 24 hours ago. Look at the daily. You got bullish divergence here after dipping down low here. So you had bullish divergence here, and then you've got it again here. Stochc RSI has bottomed out, though, and we're cross bullishly trying to work on our way to break out, right? Look at this daily candle. It's looking pretty good. I think here, I posted a chart on Twitter there, guys. Let me see here. Where is that chart on Twitter? Didn't I just do that this morning? Yeah. I said that $40.50 to $40.80 looks like a good target from here. So if we can get some continued breakout right through here, whether it's today or Monday or whatever, I mean, I think we're probably good up toward this kind of area here. Right in this area here. This longer term bullish divergence from back here in November 21st, so basically a month of bullish divergence. Declining volume here as we've gotten down this area. Support on the S1, on the daily S1. I mean, I think there's a good argument for it potentially rallying up even further, breaking out above wave 4. But I think locally anyway, I think is a good target up there around that $40 area. So yeah. Bianca, tell you what, you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Thank you all so much for showing up. So yeah, Fiboswani as well. I see you guys getting out. I'm going to get out of here as well. But I just want to kind of go over these things because I mentioned them in the announcement. But yeah, so I mean, I don't think things are necessarily dead at the moment. They could go lower, but again, if I'm entering long here, I'm looking for a stop loss right below the swing low, right? So I want to see how that plays out. But things on these larger time frames aren't looking terrible, right? Look at this right here, the weekly swing low back over here in May. You've got some serious bullish divergence here into just this past week, right? On the 3-day, right? Look at the weekly, same thing, May, right? Over here, May, to where we are now, breaking out of here, right? Look at that weekly candle at the S1 pivot. So I think there's a lot of possibilities setting up in it. And everybody, again, looks for, well, what's going on currently, rather than looking at, okay, what's, or looking at that, oh, it's just continued to drop all this time, rather than looking at, okay, is there a possibility that we could be seeing something else setting up for some movement there, okay? So that'll do it, guys. Again, we do have that special going on for Tier 3, and we do have that special going on for our mentor program. It's a year long. You're going to get so much stuff with that. We're working on getting you guys even more right now. And don't forget, even on that, we do have a partner now, a legit finance company, rather than just me doing it myself. So, traditional financing type thing, you guys can apply for that. And that's at the bottom of the page. It says partner. It's a highlighted link. Just click on that, guys. I'll update that page. I just wanted to kind of get it out there because they finally got it working. But, man, yeah. So there you go, guys. I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Happy holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, very Merry Christmas. I really enjoy what we do here, both at TWC and what I do here with you guys here. Overall. Fiboswani has a 39 target on TSLA. Could definitely happen. I'm looking for potentially a bounce at least. And then we'll see if it goes lower from that. But yeah, 39 technical target for sure, that area. As always, guys, remember the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. Okay? I appreciate you guys hanging out for me for about almost 2 hours here. I'll let you all go. TWC offices are going to close, but please, I'll be paying attention to my DMs, and I will get to them as soon as possible if you do have questions and whatnot for that. Okay? All right, guys. Have a fantastic next couple of days. I'll be back on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll see how the weekend treats us, all right? Take care.